Hello and welcome to That's Suite. My name is Sarah Emery and today I'm going to show you how to set up units of measure in NetSuite. Most organizations that deal in physical goods have had scenarios in which items are bought and sold in different quantities, such as buying in cases and selling in eaches or buying in feet and selling in inches. Some companies have even more complex conversions. For example, items that are bought in master cartons, stocked in cases, and sold in eaches. Luckily, NetSuite can automate all of these conversions with units of measure. I'm going to start by validating that the units of measure feature is enabled by going to Setup, Company, Enable Features. And then on the Company sub-tab, I will scroll down to ERP General, and the first option is Multiple Units of Measure. This is enabled in my environment. If it's not, you will need to enable this in order to complete the next steps. Next, I'm going to navigate to Lists, Accounting, Units of Measure, New. I'm going to set up two examples here. One for length that manages conversions between feet and inches, and another for cartons to convert case packs to eaches. I'm going to start with the length. So let's do length as our name. In this first row, I'm going to configure my base unit. In this case, my base unit will be inches. So I'm going to call this inch. Plural name is inches. Abbreviation IN. And S for plural abbreviations. These are all used on the item record. And then my conversion rate will be 1. So because this is a base unit, it will always be a single unit for conversion. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add this, and you'll notice I did check this base unit column. You can only have this checked for one row within each unit type, and this is the unit that will be converted to. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and set up a row for feet. So let's call this foot as my singular, feet as my plural. And in this case, I need to set my conversion rate to 12 because 12 inches make up 1 foot. And then I'm going to also, just for additional visibility, I'm going to set up one more conversion for yard. Plural is yards. And in this instance, my conversion rate will be 36 because it's 36 inches to 1 yard. Okay, I'm going to select Save and New, and we'll go ahead and set up our conversions for my carton unit of measure. I'm going to call this carton. Okay, once again, I'm going to start with my base unit. So my base unit will be eaches. Oops. Once again, my conversion rate is 1, and this is my base unit. So in this example, I'm going to set up conversions for cases of 12 and 24, each of which are purchased in master cartons of 3 cases. So I'm going to need to set up 4 conversions to support these quantities. A case of 12, a case of 24, a master carton of 36, and a master carton of 72. So I'm going to configure each of these just as I did in my length example. This first one will be case of 12. And this will be 12 of our base unit. Next, I'll set up my case of 24. You'll notice I'm setting the abbreviation, singular and plural, they're the same in this case. That's okay. It's best if you can find a distinct abbreviation for singular and plural, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So this is perfectly acceptable configuration. Okay, now I'm going to set up my master cartons. So I'm going to do this, my master of the 12 pack. This is my 3-case carton. So in this case, because I'm working with my case of 12, my master will be 36. And last, I'm going to set up a master for the 24. This time, my conversion will be 72. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. So at this point, I've set up my units, but I need to actually associate them with items so that we can start looking at how those conversions work. An item that I have already created, I'm going to just pull that up. And this particular item does not have units of measures already associated with it, so that is why I'm able to make this modification. If you already have an item that has units of measure established, you aren't able to change them. So let's go ahead and set the primary unit type. I'm going to use the carton example so that we can see how this works. You can't see it in the screen share, but there is a pop-up that displays at this point that shows, that mentions that values will be converted into the unit selected upon save. That is exactly what I'm looking for. At this point, when I select the primary units type, my primary stock, purchase, sale, and consumption unit all become mandatory and they pre-populate with the base unit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my purchase unit to masters of 12, my sale unit to eaches, and my stock unit to cases of 12. And my primary consumption unit, I'm going to leave at eaches. So when I'm entering sales transactions or if I'm entering inventory adjustments, it's going to default to eaches. But when I buy them, it's going to default to masters of the 12 cases. And my primary stock unit is going to be cases of 12. Just before I save this, I'm going to scroll down and take a look at my inventory. So I currently have 720 units on hand. And you'll notice I have 2 columns here, quantity on hand and quantity on hand base unit. Because I haven't saved, none of my changes have been applied yet, but we will come back and refresh this momentarily. Additionally, you'll notice all of these header sections are just in a base unit, essentially. There's not a designation of unit here at this point. So once I save this, if I then come back to that item page, use my recent records, go back to my item record, a few things have changed. So down here, I can see that my cost is now per case, and my last purchase price is per master. And that's being driven by these settings up at the top. Scrolling down further, I can see my quantity on hand is 60. That is in terms of the stock units. So that is 60 cases of 12, but I still have 720 in my base unit of eaches. So that is how easy it is to do those complex conversions. You'll notice that the average cost and last purchase price are already being automatically calculated based on those designations of the units type that I made up at the top. Even though my total value is still retained, it's still $7,200, but my average and last purchase price now reflect those carton quantities. I'd like to make a couple of callouts here. First, units of measure also support decimal values, meaning that you can set your base unit as feet and convert to inches by setting the conversion rate to 0.0833, which is 1 divided by 12. Additionally, you can manually select the units of measure on transaction lines, meaning that you can override the primary purchase or sale unit that is populated by default on purchase orders and sales transactions to allow you to buy or sell in other quantities within the same unit type, meaning that I could sell in cases of 12 if I wanted to, even though my primary sale unit is eaches. I have the ability to adjust that at the transaction line level. Since units of measure not only manage the quantity conversions, but also the value conversions, is a very powerful feature with minimal configuration required. Really hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, or if you have ideas about other topics you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment below. Also, make sure to subscribe for even more NetSuite tips, tricks, and helpful hints. I will be back again next week with another video to help you live that sweet life.